You know, the first attraction I ever built when I came down from Scotland was a flea circus, Petticoat Lane. Really quite wonderful. We had a wee trapeze and carousel and a seesaw. They all move, motorized, of course, but people would say they could see the fleas. Oh, I could see the fleas, Mummy, can't you see the fleas? Clown fleas and high wire fleas and fleas on parade. But with this place, I wanted to show them something that wasn't an illusion. Something that was real. Something that they could see and touch. A name not devoid of merit.
But you can't think through this one, John. You have to feel it.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to make a different type of video. This is going to be much different than anything I've ever done before. A much more personal video, but I'm titling it Learning to Collect Responsibly, because this is something I've wanted to talk about for a while, and I thought I'd go ahead and do it, and it's something that I'm very passionate about. So let's go ahead and just jump right into this. So I guess I'll start in 2007. I was around 4 years old, and that's when I was first introduced to Jurassic Park. My grandma got me a VHS copy of the movie, and I wore that thing out. And then I realized that they made a toy line for it. If you saw my series on my collection, I pointed out the Stegosaurus and Pachycephalosaurus from the Lost World, which were my first ever Jurassic Park figures, and those are kind of what kickstarted this whole hobby, I guess. And then from then on, I collected everything with a Jurassic Park logo on it, and that was fine at the time because there really wasn't a lot of Jurassic Park stuff coming out. Hasbro had the license, and they weren't really doing anything besides they did the 2009 line, which I collected in its entirety, and then later on the same thing with 2013. But they didn't really do much with it, and there wasn't a lot of Jurassic Park stuff out there. But that all changed in 2015 with the release of Jurassic World. All of a sudden, Jurassic Park was back in the mainstream again, and there were so many things coming out, and once again, I was collecting everything with the JP logo on it. Or I guess now it was Jurassic World, but I was collecting, the toys. I had, like you saw, Barbasol cans, I had bath bombs, I had just the weirdest shit, Band-Aids, and I collected everything. And I'll show you a picture of my collection from around 2014. I didn't have a lot, but what I had was some of my favorite stuff, a lot of vintage Kenner stuff. And then I'll show you, this is from 2015. So you can see most of the Hasbro stuff that I had, how much it had grown just in that 1 year. But then what really took it over was 2018 with the release of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Mattel had the toy license, and everyone was super excited about these toys, myself included. They looked amazing, and, they were amazing. Or at least I thought. They were much better than Hasbro. I collected absolutely everything. From 2018 to the release of Dino Rivals, I collected every single item. And I'll show you, this is a video that I took of my collection back in early 2019. And you can see it was madness. I had, doubles of some things. I had 2 Legacy Collection Spinosauruses, and those were quite rare. I had 2 command compounds, which I talked about in my collection video, and it was just too much stuff. And, I never would have thought that I could have got to that point, but it really was. It was too much stuff, and I was honestly very unhappy, and collecting just wasn't fun anymore. And that was, when reality really started to set in. And, also, this was during my, early high school years, and I started to, realize, what am I going to do with my life? obviously I can't do this, and make a living. That's when I, refound my passion of filmmaking, and I started to get back into that. And if you know anything about that hobby or that career path, it's very expensive, and the equipment is very, very pricey. That's when I decided I was going to sell a lot of my collection, and that's exactly what I did. Over the course of the next year, I had sold off all of my Hasbro figures from Jurassic Park 3 all the way to Jurassic World, except for my animatronic Spinosaurus, which there might be a video on my channel, or if not, I'm going to work on that video right now about why that figure is special to me, and why it survived the wrath, and a few other items that you saw in my collection video. And then I sold all of my Mattel figures as well, because I realized I sat down and I said, if I'm going to collect anything, I want to collect vintage Kenner stuff. I love what, Retro Blasting does. He collects, only vintage stuff. And that's what I realized I wanted to do, because I really don't like, these Mattel figures are great. But I'm going to make a video about sort of why I think Mattel is kind of, shitting the bed on this one. I just realized that, I just wanted to collect vintage, because honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of the Jurassic World films, especially the last two. The first Jurassic World was okay, but these last two films have just, not been good. And I realized, why would I want the merchandise if I don't even like the films? So that's why I sold it all. And you've seen my collection now, and it's less than half of what it used to be. And, I thought I was going to be really sad about it, because there was a lot of figures I'd had since I was a child that I got rid of. A lot of my Jurassic Park 3 stuff I'd had for, since I got into it. And, but I realized, quickly that it wasn't that sad. Sure, there's a few things I wish I would have kept, but I was happy. And I realized why. It's because I was giving back to the community that I love so much. For a long time, I was just hoarding stuff and collecting stuff, and, and it wasn't even on display. I wasn't even enjoying it. It was just the fact that I had it that I thought was good. But I realized that I didn't need everything to be happy. And I didn't need everything to, be a part of this community. And I just, I loved giving back to the community because, I wasn't enjoying these figures, but I know someone else will. Someone will buy these and they'll start their own collection, or maybe it'll complete part of their collection that they've been wanting to, or what have you. And that really made me happy to think about that someone else could get the enjoyment out of these figures that I wasn't getting. And that sort of shifted how I look at collecting, and that's how I look at it now. Whenever I have doubles, I get rid of them. I give them to people. I'll, just help out. And that makes me much, much more happy, and that I'm giving back to the community that has given so much to me. Yeah, I just love the Jurassic Park collecting community. I think we're one of the best, toy collecting communities out there. Recently, there's been some drama with certain things, but, that's fine. And, there's always that. But overall, I think it's very good. And I want to give a huge shout out to, probably my biggest inspiration, one of my favorite YouTubers, Matthew Brando, he used to go by Matthew Brando. Now he goes by Matthew Danzak. I cannot say your last name. I'm so sorry. He made a video around the time that I was, debating on what to do with my collection, called The End of an Era, where basically he talked about his struggle with collecting and how he had acquired so much stuff that, he really wasn't happy with collecting anymore.
Do you really need, insert franchise name here, every collectible known to man or woman? Or would you rather have a life that does not pass you by?
That was a big inspiration to me, and it helped me, put one foot in front of the other with really starting to, take the steps to sell my collection, and now I'm much more happy with collecting. So yeah, I hope this video was helpful. If anyone out there, was struggling with the same thing I was with collecting, you're not alone. And I hope this video helped you. Go watch Matthew's video as well. It's a very good video. I'm going to put that down in the description. If my video can't help you, that one certainly can. And yeah, guys, I don't want to leave on a sour note. So, of course, the collecting videos, of course, I'm not done collecting. New videos are coming out all the time. I've got a lot of great ideas, and I have a lot of videos, on back order right now that I need to publish, and a lot of good ideas. So, stay tuned for all those videos. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to make this more personal video. So I really appreciate you guys sticking around and watching it. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.
It's still the flea circus. It's all an illusion.
When we have control again.
You never had control. That's the illusion. I was overwhelmed by the power of this place. But I made a mistake too. I didn't have enough respect for that power, and it's out now. The only thing that matters now are the people we love.